Hey there! Welcome to the 15th Easy jQuery tutorial, part of easyprogramming.net. So far, we've learned two ways of getting data from a web service. This is the final way that I'll show you how to get data from a web service, but this information will be really useful when we're going over the rest of the CRUD operations using AJAX, which are post, update, and delete. Update is technically put HTTP method. Well, I'll go over that when we're doing that video. I would recommend checking out the AJAX jQuery.ajax method documentation on the jQuery website. There's a lot of information here, and there's a lot more that you can do than what I can show you in the next few minutes. So the AJAX method is just a function, is a method in jQuery where you can specify a bunch of properties that this method will use to create, to make an AJAX call. The only thing that it requires is the URL. Everything else is optional. If you don't specify the method here, it can be get, post, put, up, delete. It will default to get. If you don't specify data type, it'll just get whatever. Just like the get method, where you don't have to specify anything, but no, you can specify JSON, XML, text, HTML, or leave it blank or not do it at all. The data is the the request that's being sent to the web service. If it's a GET request, it'll be sent through the URL. If it's any other kind of request, it'll be sent through the body of the request. And there's a success function, a success property, where you can catch the incoming data that's coming in and do something with it. So we'll practice this. So in the JavaScript code that I have now, the jQuery code that I have now, it's the old getJSON method. So if I run it, if I turn on cores and run it, it grabs the heroes from this URL here. So we'll convert this function here into the AJAX function. So the first thing I'm going to do is, although done, fail, and always are available in the AJAX method, I'm going to comment them out and work just with the AJAX method here. So do this. So AJAX, and it accepts everything in properties. So I'll just close this up. Take this. The first property I'm going to send in is the URL. Should have put quotes, comma. The next thing I'm going to specify is the method. If you don't specify anything, it'll default to get. But I'm going to specify get. The data type, I'll say it's JSON. Even though I don't really have to specify anything, it'll figure out what the data is because of the headers that are available on that page. We'll do data, although I don't have anything set up on the API end. Let me turn off cores, it's trying to save. On the API end, I can still send in data so you can see what it looks like in the URL. I'll just call it test, and then I'll call it test data. And the last thing I'm going to do is put in a success property and capture the incoming information, incoming data that's coming, and we'll call it result. And what we want to do is we want to take this information, post it here. So this is pretty much the same as the function that we had here. Sorry, I didn't copy enough. No, I did copy enough, sorry. So this is the exact same function, so I'll comment this out too. I'll remove it in a little bit once I know that everything is being done. So the result is being sent, so instead of calling this data, I'll call it result just to be consistent. The hero is being sent, read, everything else is the same as before. Now if I update and if I run this, if I turn on cores and run it, it worked. So how do you know it worked? If you're thinking that nothing updated, so let me turn off cores just to show you that there you go, nothing worked. If I turn on the console, it'll say fail to load because no access control, allow origin, blah blah blah. Run it again, and there you go. So the exact same thing that we did in our last tutorial with getJSON, we did with the AJAX method. It's simpler, it gives you more control, even though it looks like a little bit more work. I promise you in the next few tutorials you'll see just how flexible this is. The other thing I did want to show you is, so if I run it, I have in my console here, I turned on, if you go to the settings and you turn on log XML HTTP requests, it'll log the request, so you don't have to go into the network tab. So it tells you exactly what it tried to get, this URL. And if I open it in a new tab, you'll see that the URL has a special query string that's being added to the end called test, and its value is test space data, which is the %20 in code. And see if I add something else here. So if I say, like test2, yeah, comma, if I need to update, sorry, turn it off first. Let's update it. Turn it back on, run it. There you go. You can see here that there's a test2, but I'll open it here anyway. So, here is JSON, test equals test data, and the test2 is, yeah. So this is one way of sending information using your URL if you're using GET. And if you change this to POST, it'll send a POST request, but this information will be in the body of the request and not the actual URL, so that people can't steal that information. Pretty cool, right? So thanks for watching. If you have any questions on the AJAX method, please feel free to ask in the comments below or on easyprogramming.net. Come back for the next few tutorials. I'll be covering post, put, and delete. I'm currently working on setting up endpoints for those, as they are a little bit more complicated and will not be done in JS Fiddle easily. So for demo purposes, obviously. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.